And welcome back, chat. How's everybody doing tonight, this afternoon? Maybe it's morning for you. Maybe it's already pretty late in the night. But anyhow, if you're here, welcome to Kerbal Space Program 2 with the noob. Finally, we have a follow-up on one of the, well, most difficult, challenging, but most fun and entertaining games of, well, at least in my list. So, yeah, let's see. Kerbal Space Program 2. Big disclaimer, of course, it is an early access release. It's nowhere near completed as that Kerbal Space Program is right now, with all the mods and etc. But at least the developers are working towards it, and they released a first version that they would like to have, of course, our input for. So during the period of time, couple of months, years, we don't know, they'll be releasing more and more updates, up and including, of course, a multiplayer, which we're all excited about. But for now, it's just single player, and some of the things that we're familiar with from KSP 1 are not there yet. I think science and such is not really incorporated. I have no idea. Forgot to look at the roadmap to see what is all planned and when. So forgive me for that I'm not up to speed, but I'm not here about anything that may or may not be, may or may not come. I'm just here to play games and have fun with you guys. So let's get to it. Whee! Kerbal swimming. It's space, you idiot. Kerbals are fun. Let's see. I quickly did a quick test earlier to see if and how the game was working, if everything was set up properly. But we are going to start just freshly with a new save completely. Although I didn't really do anything in it, but so far we have only a sandbox mode. Difficulties we can set just like on the original game. Don't think there's much here yet. We can make it ourselves easier to go with infinite viewer power and such, but we're just gonna play it on normal settings. And for our campaign name, Noobs in Space. And of course we're gonna keep it simple. The Noob, oh, let's go with capitals. Noob Space Agency. Yeah, one of the things I noticed that if you try to scroll through the list, I was like, hey, am I not missing a couple of flags? But apparently scrolling through the list will get you up to the topmost part of the list or to the bottom, but nothing in between. So they'll probably fix that if soon enough. Some pretty cool logos again, although I am missing a couple, of course. Again, I've a couple of hundreds, maybe not even I don't even know, a couple of hundreds of hours of playtime in Kerbal Space Program 1. Not too recently though, more from years back. But yeah, we'll also just have to see how well I'll fare in this game. Let's go for that one. Let's go for base color orange. Accents red. Give it a bit of a red panda feel. Oh. And let's start our campaign.
Your new space program, leaping forward into the cosmos. Since the dawn of Kerbal kind, we have looked to the sky and wondered what sublime mysteries lie hidden in the darkness, like jewels never beheld. These untold treasures may soon reveal themselves due to the efforts of recently founded Kerbal Space Program.
Oh my! I think that might have been the only copy of the orientation film. Hold on! Slides, somewhere. Welcome to your first day running the Kerbal Space Program. This campus hosts the greatest ever gathering of astronomers, astronauts, and engineers. After years of focused effort, this collection of geniuses has created several very impressive buildings. We believe we have all the necessary pieces to take our first steps off the ground. The best way to advance our technologies further is to get up there and learn by doing. All we need now is somebody to show us how to put all these parts together. Well, we also need somebody to help us out with the flying. We need a lot of help, actually. That's why you're here. My name is Paige, by the way. If you need any hints, feel free to visit me over at the training center. Everything in there is well padded, so it's a great place to get up and running. Welcome aboard!
Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Center. This campus has everything you need to turn your fledgling space program into the stuff of legends. Alright. Epic introduction. Our engineers have created a training program that will guide you through building and flying your very first rocket. You can go through those lessons here at the training center. Yep, that's probably what we'll be focusing on, just to see what new things the game has in store, which is at the moment, I believe, mostly the tutorial section. That's somewhat different. So let's explore that. If you want to start building right away, the vehicle assembly building is where you want to be. Alright. Well, first thing we'll be noticing, if we're looking around, it's somewhat similar, but completely different from Kerbal Space Program. First of all, we have far more details than just the flat, green, grassy space center that we had on the first game. We have a dual runway here in the back. We actually have, well, besides the one that we're looking at here, another tree, right? Yep. 3 launch pads, which as far as I know is mostly for the multiplayer that's upcoming eventually at some point. And of course, look at all the trees. Now let's see, can we do more than just zoom? Can we move around somehow? Not finding it yet. There's nothing of the standard controls. Okay, so here's our tracking station, training center. These were the Launch pads. Anything here? Oh, vehicle assembly building. Runway. This is probably the runway tower. And dock launch. Not really sure yet what they plan to do in the stock game. But if the stock game isn't using it, then definitely the modders will do. So if this, this will probably eventually be the astronaut complex that we know from KSP1. This is the training center, then this probably is gonna be astronaut complex. Here, of course, we got the tracking station, and this then probably will be the science center. And of course, all kinds of side buildings. All right. Let's see if this... Oh, yeah. Ah, so launchpad 1, 2, 3, 4. We can select here runway 1, 2. I did notice, I'm not sure if my overlay is actually in the way. Let me see if I can fix that without crashing anything. Also, by the way, I have been tweaking this week my OBS and such to see if I could get all my live streams back into a good order. Well, fingers crossed. Here. This is the one that I was looking for. It's actually, they made some kind of system pad, or how do you call that? Like, you're in the star system of Kerbal. You are on the planet, or backward slash, you're on the planet of Kerbal. Kerbin. Backward slash, you're at the Space Center, KSC. Funny little detail. Alright. Let me get the overlay back. And we'll be going to the training center. The training center is where we go to learn how to build and fly rockets, planes, and rovers. Lessons take place in a simulation. You can start a lesson at any time, even in the middle of an active flight. When you're done, we'll put you right back where we found you. Space is the place. Missing the ground. Orbits are weird. Orbits definitely are weird. Orbital transfers. Let's see how well they designed these missions to help also more the new players getting into the game. Because I remember that the original Kerbal Space Program was quite difficult to understand and to get a hang of sometimes. Even for me, who has a background in aerospace engineering, although my actual education is aeronautical engineering, so basically planes only, I do have a lot of affiliation with aerospace from previous work and such. So I quite did understand the principles of orbital mechanics, and still I found it difficult sometimes to get everything in orbit, and things like docking, mission planning for transfer missions and such. It's not that easy. It's not your typical easy kids game as the appearance might look like. I mean, look at the Kerbals. Appearance-wise, it would almost seem like this is specifically based for children, which it might be actually true to give them a hand in understanding space. but it's a lot more difficult than that. So, yeah, enough rambling, and let's see with the first tutorial. So, space is the place. Build, launch, stage, and land a rocket in a suborbital flight to learn the fundamentals. We all have to start somewhere, and usually that's on the ground. How do rockets work? Your game will be paused while in the tutorial. Alright, yes please. Let's see if we can do this without OBS crashing, so fingers crossed.
Space is the place. So you want to get to space. Have you tried rockets? Rockets use fuel and engines to create thrust, which propels them forward. When a fuel tank is empty, it is dropped to stay as lightweight as possible, allowing the rocket to go even faster. These tanks, as well as other expendable parts of a rocket, are called stages. Different stages do different things. Often the first stage is very powerful, with just enough fuel to get the vehicle through the atmosphere. The second stage usually has a low-thrust engine that, while not as powerful, is more fuel efficient. After dropping the heavier first stage and leaving the atmosphere, the second stage engine pushes the much lighter second stage to orbital speed. On a flight to space, the final stage parachutes back down to the surface, ideally in one piece.
Oh, really? There's nothing we're gonna do, it's just watch the tutorials. Tutorial complete. You have learned how to go to space. I really thought that there would be more of a do-it-yourself kind of activity in it.
Welcome to the launch pad.
Oh.
As you embark on your journey into rocketry, it's important to get all the crashing out of your system here in the simulator. It really cuts down on the awkward phone calls. Today, you'll be launching into the virtual skies over KSC, where you'll learn how to control a rocket.
Loving the music though. I hope the audio is good for everybody. Yep.
Let's learn how to rotate the flight camera. That way, you can see the launch from your favorite grate. You can also zoom the camera in and out.
So right mouse button to look around, of course.
Nice! Go ahead and pick your favorite view for this launch.
Hi! Probably just like that.
Your rocket is ready for launch. Every good launch starts with a big green button and lots of fire. Most bad launches do too, actually.
So now we have a big green button here. Or we can press spacebar. Just for fun, we're gonna press a big green button. Here we go!
Looking good! Ascend to 1,000 meters, and then we'll learn some controls.
Delta ground.
Okay,
Surface.
you're a kilometer up. You can still crash, but you'll have more time to correct your course if you start pointing at the ground. Let's learn some rocket controls.
Yes. Let's point at the ground, chat.
When flying a rocket or a plane, we have specific terms for moving. Pitch tilts your rocket's nose up and down.
Whee! Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle.
Nice pitch. Now pitch up until you're flying straight up.
No? I am. Aim.
Let's move on. Yaw steers your rocket left and right. Try it now. Now yaw to the left to straighten up. Excellent. Now for the final control. Roll rotates your rocket clockwise and counterclockwise. Try it now. That's the basics of rocket flight. Feel free to
Spin
experiment with
stabilized.
controls. Move on when you're ready.
Making our Kerbals puke. Alright, tutorial complete. You have learned yada yada yada. Alright. Now what? Are we gonna crash? Vessel. Oh, vessel actions. I'm just curious about the UI. I gotta say, it's a lot more. Darn it, what's the word for it? There's a lot more going on. Let's just put it that way. A lot more crowded. But that's definitely something to get used to. I mean, just in terms of the overall, well, the size of the nav ball, the coloring, highlights of the rocket. Why? Oh, I think there's even, yeah, there's even a highlight of the planet. I hope that at some point we can turn that off, or maybe that's just here in the tutorial. Next. I mean, forgive me if I'm a bit critical, but critical. Is that the word? I'm a critic.
You want to get to space. It's time to make a rocket. A simple rocket requires 4 crucial components: a command module, fuel tank, engine, and parachute. Let's start by learning how to add a command module. A command module allows us to control our vessel. As long as there is at least one command module on board, our rocket will be operational. This rocket will use a command pod, which can be manned by a Kerbal and is located in the pods category. Or multiple Kerbals. It all depends on the crew capacity of the part.
Yeah, so most of this is the standard Kerbal KSP1 designs. Maybe just a bit of a new look to it. New skins. Yada yada yada.
Great! It doesn't look like much, but it's a promising start. The next thing our rocket needs is a fuel tank. Fuel, or propellant, is an expendable resource used to power our vessels. Without fuel, we won't be going anywhere, let alone space. let's look at the small fuel tanks. How about that one? Rocketry Weekly calls it good enough. How exciting.
Good enough.
Notice the part is once again attached to your cursor. If you place your cursor near the bottom of your command pod, you'll see it snap into place. Then left-click to attach it. Now that's beginning to
Sparky.
look like a rocket. Well, almost. We need an engine. Here at the KSP, we have 4 different types of engines: launcher, sustainer, orbital, and deep space engines.
Sustainer. Deep space. Sustainer. Hybrid. Orbital. Launcher. Sustainer. Okay, yeah. Aerospike. Big boys. For larger vessels. All right.
Now let's add the sustainer engine to the fuel tank. Excellent! Our rocket is looking pretty great. We just need one final touch. As is, our one Kerbal rocket doesn't weigh much, so we only need an extra small parachute. Let's go with that one.
Really?
Now, all we need to do is put it on top of the command pod. It won't do it. Congratulations! You've just built a rocket. Are you sure you haven't done this before?
Uh-huh. Of course I'm sure I've done this before. I'm just hoping that the Mark 16 will be enough to land us safely. Usually in case P1 that would be, meh, you'll destroy your engine on impact. Oh well. Tutorial complete. You have learned rockets need a command module, fuel, engine, and a parachute. Well, not necessarily a parachute, but it's a good way to bring your Kerbals back safe.
As you start to build rockets, you'll want to see your designs from other angles. Let's learn how to manipulate the camera inside the vehicle assembly building.
All right, probably the
First,
same
let's
as
rotate
case
the
P1.
camera. Nice! Now let's zoom the camera in and out. Great! Now let's pan the camera up and down.
Oh yeah.
You can also focus your camera at a specific part.
Wait. I was about to say, they didn't snap the engine on properly. Did they? Oh. They made it using 2 tanks. Can I get... methane oxidizer. Oh no, this is... Ah, I see. It's an engine. I get it. Oh, of course. But they have one. I think this is the sustainer engine, then a fuel tank. This is a coupling shroud around. Where is it? Like the little orbital engine. The fuel tank for that, which is just a donut.
If you want to view your rocket from the top, front, or sides, switch to blueprint mode. You can check if you ever get lost in the VAB. You can always reset the camera.
Interesting. This is definitely new. At least to me. Maybe there was something in the mods for KSP1, but... Aha! And the home key
Now
reset.
you can get at those hard-to-reach parts of your rocket.
Meh. We'll see how that works. Usually those hard-to-reach parts are still hard to reach. At least this still works. Having to look inside part. Well. Next.
Your rocket's ready. Let's take it out for a little hop. Let's move this rocket to a launch pad.
All right.
Welcome to the launch pad. Today you'll be flying straight up. Your rocket should do fine without any steering inputs, but if things get out of line somehow, feel free to intervene.
Hold up. Just the one most important thing that they didn't talk about yet is staging. Okay. So these are in the second stage, third, fourth. Yep. All right. Let's launch. Launch. Let's just make it climb slightly towards the ocean.
You've cleared the launch tower and your flight is underway. Let's learn about staging. Rockets are constructed in sections called stages. Each stage is designed for a different part of a mission. When a stage completes its job, it's dropped to shed weight. On your right, you'll find the staging stack. It displays all of the functions contained in each stage. Every time you select the Go button, you'll activate a new stage, starting from the bottom of the stack.
All right.
Each stage's fuel supply is shown on a bar next to the stage. Your active stage, Stage 1, still has a little fuel in it. When it goes dry, you'll drop that stage by selecting Go. Your first stage is out of fuel, and all it is doing is slowing you down. To drop that weight, you're going to activate your next stage. That will activate a decoupler, which will drop your empty stage. It will also activate your next engine. Once you activate a stage, there's no going back.
No shit.
Ready? Hit Go to lose that mass.
Whee! There it goes somewhere. Ah. I missed the little markers that we would get.
Congratulations! Congratulations! You're nearly to space, and your next set of fuel tanks are empty. Now is a good time to drop them. Activate the next state, your capsule will now continue coasting up. All that's left to do is gaze back down at Kerbin and wonder if you remembered to lock your car. Nice work!
Is this a proper heat shield? Let's hope so. I mean, and with all the junk that we're throwing off all the time, I'm not sure if locking your car would be your least of your problems. Let's hope none of the stages landed on the car. Still trying to figure out what everything means. I mean, most very obvious. Stability assist system. RCS, reaction control system. This is the atmosphere. Vertical speed, so we're going down. Altimeter, the ground, orbit, surface. For velocity. Of course, our heading dial. Full control. Object cycling. Ah. APP. That's what it is. Always forget how to pronounce that. Epiperi? Epiepsis? Damn! Periapsis? Perigi? I forgot. What a noob. What is our altitude? Altitude. Altitude. Aren't we forgetting something, chat? 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 Are we going okay? I think we're forgetting something, but I forgot what we forgot. What the hell? Oh, cool. Of course I didn't forget, chat. Of course I didn't. Can we also increase time? Funny to see the clipping of the helmet. Well, kind of yes and no. Oh, of course, here we have map and tracking station. Oi. $334 meters. That's not exactly correct when we're in the water. Yeah, and this is still KSP being KSP, the water. I mean, for a game that focuses on space, we couldn't totally blame them.
Your capsule has a lot of momentum. If you're curious how high up you are, take a look at your altimeter. You're so high that you can see the curve of the horizon.
Yee. See, chat? The Earth isn't flat. KSP just proved it. There. Period. End of discussion.
Rocketry involves a lot of waiting between the cool explosions. You can speed up time by selecting the time warp controls at the bottom of your screen. Check out your altimeter. You're about to start falling back down. Let's slow down and enjoy the view.
What?
Great job. You're now a master of time. Try not to use this new power for evil.
No funny business, chat. No evil doing. Wow, really? Alright.
What goes up must come down. Wind resistance will slow down your capsule's descent, but not enough to prevent it from turning into a bunch of tiny capsules when it lands. That's why we've attached a parachute.
Here goes my engineering brain. Wind resistance will slow down your capsule's descent. Not actually wind resistance. It's air resistance, or in some cases, any kind of gaseous substance. Oh well, they'll probably try to keep it for kids. Let's teach them wrong.
If you deploy your parachute too early, it'll be torn off. If you deploy it too late, you'll do some unplanned underground exploration. The sweet spot for Kerbin is between 20,000 and 2,000 meters.
Oh, so basically right now.
Okay, you're low enough to activate the final stage that contains your parachute.
Yes, so let me.
Hit go to pop your chute.
Boop.
Nice work. The parachute will trail your capsule for a bit without fully opening. Once you've slowed down enough, it'll open all the way by itself.
It looks a little bit silly.
Your parachute is now fully deployed and slowing the capsule to a safe velocity. Congratulations! If this were real, you'd find celebratory snacks in the VAB kitchen.
Woohoo! To the kitchen! Hey, Pappy. Welcome to the house. Aye. Aw, is this already the end of the tutorial? Well, at least this part. So that's basically Space is the Place tutorial. Missing the ground. The goal of any space agency should be to get to space, right? Build and launch a rocket capable of reaching orbit. Oh yeah! Learn how to miss the ground to make an orbit. Sounds simple enough, right?
Missing the ground. If you want to visit space for more than a couple of minutes, you'll need to get to orbit. An object is in orbit when it's moving sideways so quickly that even as gravity causes it to fall, it keeps missing the ground. As long as that object isn't slowed down by anything, it follows the same path every time it goes around the body it's orbiting, forever. If that object is a Kerbal, it is recommended that they bring lots of snacks. So since your goal is to move horizontally at a high speed, why not launch sideways? On Kerbin, the atmosphere is like a thick soup. You waste a lot of fuel trying to fly through it horizontally. By launching vertically, you cut through the thickest part of the atmosphere as quick as possible. Most orbital rockets begin tilting toward the horizon soon after they leave the launch pad. This maneuver, called a gravity turn, uses the planet's gravity to turn the ship and reduces the amount of fuel needed to achieve a stable orbit. When launching near the equator, your gravity turns should point toward the east, since your vehicle gets a free boost from the planet's rotation. Thanks, planet! Once a vehicle is moving quickly enough that its arc will take it above the atmosphere, it shuts down its engines and coasts to space. Once it nears the top of that arc, the vehicle needs to fire its engines a second time to keep itself from falling back down to the planet. Doing this turns that arc into a nice big circle. Congratulations! You've missed the ground.
Okay, these short movies, they're kind of funny. I like them. I like them so far.
When you're making a rocket, it's often easiest to work top to bottom, tailoring each stage to carry the weight of everything above it. To give you a head start, I've already placed an upper stage, perfect for maneuvering in the vacuum of space. It could use another, more powerful stage to push it up to space from Kerbin's surface. Let's turn this vehicle into a multi-stage rocket. That's creative, but I think our rocket needs that piece. Let's try again.
Yeah, I just want to see. Oh, actually, this I might like, actually. That if I remove a piece and have it floating around, I can actually attach the fuel tank to it. Yeah, now that you mention it. Ah, the good old Hitchhiker's Guide. Paige, can you get out? Too bad. I cannot move Paige. I think this is a control system. Or how would you call that? Stabilizing. Fuel, engines, structural parts, coupling separators, payload, yada yada, aerodynamics, wheels, thermal, power, and then utilities. Here. Small reaction wheel stabilizer. All right. And this. Okay, they just put in a T200 and a T100. Alright. Like I said, I always like to understand what is on my rocket. Oh. Okay.
When you're making a rocket, it's often easiest to work top to bottom, tailoring each stage to carry the weight of everything above it. To give you a head start, I've already placed an upper stage, perfect for maneuvering in the vacuum of space. It could use another, more powerful stage to push it up to space from Kerbin's surface. Let's turn this vehicle into a multi-stage rocket.
Alright, alright. So apparently it doesn't like that. Now... Of course, the question is... How much will we be needing? The launcher and the sustainer. Okay.
Anytime we intend to drop an empty stage after using all of its fuel, we connect it to the stage above it using a decoupler. A decoupler contains explosive bolts that, when activated by a staging action, that's creative, but I think our rocket needs that piece. Let's try again.
What? Seriously?
When you're making a rocket,
anytime
we intend to drop an empty stage after using all of its fuel, we connect it to the stage above it using a decoupler. A decoupler contains explosive bolts that, when activated by a staging action, eject the attached stage away from the rest of the vehicle. Add that decoupler to the bottom of your rocket. We need to attach a larger, more powerful lower stage to the bottom of your rocket. To keep things simple, I've whipped up a new lower stage in another workspace. You can bring saved vehicles and other sub-assemblies into an in-progress workspace by merging it. Let's merge my lower stage into this VAB workspace. Out in the real world, this list would show all of your saved workspaces. Here in the simulator, I'm only showing you the lower stage you need to merge.
So there they've hidden it.
Now that the lower stage has been merged into your current workspace, you can see it next to the upper stage. Select the lower stage and connect it to the decoupler beneath the upper stage to create a single two-stage rocket. Perfect! Merging is a very powerful tool. Anytime you want to reuse a particular booster, lander, or other element from an existing rocket, merging saves you the hassle of making the same thing over and over.
True. Woohoo! We did it, chat! Next level!
Space rockets sometimes need an extra boost. In a rare case of rocket scientists naming something well, these additional rocket engines are called boosters. Boosters are attached to the sides of a vehicle to keep them out of the way of the main engines. Solid fuel rockets make great boosters. They produce a very high thrust for a short time. Let's attach some boosters to the sides of your vehicle.
More boosters are needed. Oh. Press continue.
We'll start by attaching 4 radial decouplers that will eject the spent boosters when they're empty. To make sure that these decouplers are evenly spaced and aligned with one another, you'll be using the symmetry tool.
Right click. Oh!
Great! Now when you place a part on one side of your rocket, 3 more evenly spaced duplicates will appear around the rocket. Go ahead and add 4 radial decouplers. Good! Now attach it as shown. Perfect! Now you've got 4 radial decouplers exactly where they need to be. Let's attach those solid fuel boosters.
Just the small ones?
Since you're still in 4x symmetry mode, simply attach this booster to one of the decouplers you just placed. That will attach copies of that booster to the remaining decouplers. Great job! You've finished your orbital rocket. You can symmetrically place up to 8 parts at once. A feat that could until now only be achieved by certain sea creatures.
Funny. Yay! Another level complete.
Before you launch a rocket, you need to plan the order of your staging events. Nobody wants to start out their flight by popping their parachute, right? Most parts that can be staged are automatically assigned to stages. Their activation order can be seen in the staging stack. You can change when staging events occur by moving them between stages. You can also add, remove, and reorder stages. Best of all, you can do this in both the VAB and in flight. The staging order begins at the bottom of the staging stack. You want your boosters and main engine to fire together for maximum thrust. The solid fuel boosters are Your solid fuel boosters burn very hard and very fast, so they will run out of fuel first. Even though your main engine and boosters will activate at the same time, you want to drop the empty boosters before you drop your main engine. You'll add a new stage above stage 1 to do one thing. Activate the radial decouplers to jettison your spent boosters. Now move all 4 radial decouplers from stage 4 to your new stage 2. All done. Your remaining stages are set up so that stage 4 will activate your orbital stage's engine. Stage 5 will detach the orbital stage's fuel tank when it's empty. And stage 6 will deploy your landing parachute. Thanks to you, this rocket is ready to fly.
Woohoo! We did it, chat! We staged! I mean, it seems kind of easy if you understand Kerbal Space Program 1, of course. Because in this case, it's just basically just a reskin. I mean, not that I'm complaining about that.
All right, we're ready to light this candle. In this flight, you're going all the way to orbit. I'll walk you through the process of launching, executing a gravity turn to get moving sideways, coasting to orbital altitude, and doing a final burn at the top of your arc to establish a stable orbit. Before we begin, let's talk about the nav ball. The nav ball shows your vehicle's orientation relative to the horizon. The blue half of the ball represents the sky, and the brown half represents the ground. The level indicator at the center shows your vehicle's orientation. When you turn, the ball turns. When you roll, the ball rolls. Assuming you want your rocket pointed at the sky, you'll want to see lots of blue on the nav ball. If you get confused, remember this rhyme. If the nav ball's brown, you're going down.
If the nav ball's brown, you're going down.
At launch, you want all your engines at maximum thrust, which means you need to set your throttle at 100%. Your solid fuel boosters are way ahead of you on this. They have no setting other than full throttle, and they can't be shut off once they're lit. Once you hit the go button, they'll go full tilt until they run out of fuel. Still, your main engine's throttle is in your control. You can see your main throttle here. Left shift gradually increases your throttle. Left control gradually decreases your throttle. Z and X instantly set your throttle to 100 or 0. Your fuel levels are visible within the staging stack. Right now, you can see that your main engine and 4 boosters are all topped off and ready to rumble. It's time to go. At the start, all you need to do is fly straight up. I'll check back in with you once those boosters are empty. Good luck!
Let's get ready to rumble. Alright, chat. Here we go. Go, 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 go!
Every stage has its time, and this one was a little too soon. Let's try again.
What? A little too soon? How dare you? Was I not paying attention?
All right, we're ready. Before we begin, at launch, you want all your engines at maximum. You can see your main throttle here. Left shift gradually. Your fuel levels are visible within the staging stack. Right now, you can see that your main engine and 4 boosters are all topped off and ready to rumble. It's time to go. At the start, all you need to do is fly straight up. I'll check back in with you once those boosters are empty. Good luck!
Here they go.
All right, the solid fuel boosters are empty. Let's drop them. It's time to start your gravity turn. A gravity turn uses the pull of the planet's gravity to help bend your vertical ascent into a horizontal arc. It's the first step to entering orbit. For our first flight to orbit, we're going to start our gravity turn up to where the air is thin, at an altitude of around 10,000 meters. To show you where to aim your rocket, I've placed a target marker on your nav ball.
We need to go there, I guess.
You're going to yaw towards the east so that the target marker is in the center of the nav ball. Your vessel and nav ball should look like this example video if you're performing the gravity turn correctly.
All right. Turn, baby, turn, turn, turn. Ooh.
Way to make Kerbin's gravity work for you. You're now on track to establish an orbit.
It's on the line.
Your current stage's fuel is empty. Let's drop it and activate your deep space engine. Great job! Your rocket is on its way to orbit. As you gain experience, you can make your gravity turns more efficient by starting to tilt your rocket soon after liftoff. Adjusting course with a series of small corrections instead of one big one will leave you with a lot more fuel when you get to orbit. Turning immediately after launch requires a very stable rocket, so if you ever have trouble keeping the pointy end up, you can try the simplified wait and turn method we use today.
Keep the pointy end up. Will we reach orbit? That we'll figure out probably on the next tutorial episode of Kerbal Space Program 2. Actually, we might make it, but do we then still have enough to get back? No, we won't make it. Too elliptical. Next.
Right now, we're on a ballistic trajectory. If no further adjustments are made, your rocket will eventually fall back down to the ground. Our objective is to turn this arc into an orbit. The process of turning your trajectory into a circular orbit is called circularization. Partial credit to the rocket people on that one. It does have the word circle in it, but it's really hard to say.
Circularization.
When planning and executing orbital maneuvers, you'll want to switch to map view, where you can see every part of your current trajectory. The blue arc passing through your vehicle is its current trajectory, the path your rocket will follow if you don't touch the controls anymore. Our goal is to make that arc into a circular orbit. After you've coasted nearly to the top of this arc, you're going to point forward, and then you're going to ignite your engine. If you time this burn right, you'll never quite get to the top of the arc, as it'll keep widening in front of you until it wraps all the way around the planet. Let's break that down a little more. The top of your arc has a helpful tag in map view. It's called the apoapsis, abbreviated as AP. You're going to max out your throttle before you pass this point.
All right.
We're paused at just before the apoapsis. We want to go faster in the direction we're already moving, so we need to make sure our rocket is pointed forward. There's a handy marker on your nav ball called the prograde marker. That represents your forward direction. Use the Stability Assist System, or SAS, to point your vessel at that marker. You're all lined up and ready to go. The next step is to go max throttle. It can take time for your arc to fully expand into an orbit. If you look closely at where your trajectory meets the ground, you'll see it moving toward the horizon. Once your trajectory reaches all the way around the planet, you'll see another marker on your orbit. This is the periapsis, or PE, the lowest point in your orbit. It'll always live on the opposite side of your orbit from the apoapsis, or highest point. By burning prograde near your apoapsis, you increase the altitude of your periapsis, the lowest point on your orbit.
No shit, Sherlock.
Here's the most important thing to remember about setting up an orbit above an atmosphere. Your periapsis must be higher than the atmosphere, or your rocket will start to slow down every time it dips into the upper atmosphere. On Kerbin, that means every part of your orbit must be higher than 70 kilometers. Keep your eye on your trajectory for now, and I'll tell. Okay, your orbit is fully out of the atmosphere. Cut the throttle. You did it! You're in orbit! This is when I usually tell you to look under your seat in the simulator, where you'd find a delicious celebratory treat. Sadly, since the vending machine in the astrodynamics lab broke down, it has gotten very difficult to hide snacks anywhere at KSC. Feel free to take a moment to admire your first orbit. In a way, you've given yourself a mind snack, which is way better than the edible kind anyway. Right? Right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right? Look, chat, we're in orbit. And there's the moon. Moon. Oh. End of the tutorial. Well, this part of the tutorial. Maha. Just out of curiosity. A1. This modular hub. Inquisitive rover. K2, RC Sparrow, Kerbal K2. So these are some of the stock builds that they implemented in the game. Oh boy. Already got drones. Some people might not like that. Jumping flea. Oh wow. Just a silly little puddle dumper. And a first space station. Oh yeah. Wait. Antennas. Electrical? Batteries? I think. RCS. Solar panels. Is under electrical. Yep. Whip. Docking port. Docking ports. Yeah, so basically also the standards. Then It does kind of feel a little bit sad. Like, I would have hoped for some newer stock parts, but... we'll see. Oh yeah, so this is basically... the rocket that we just flew, but with some solar panels, batteries. Stabilization fins. And what about K2, right? We haven't checked. Yeah. This really feels like Kerbal. Like, usually you wouldn't want to do this because of air drag. If you're around max Q, then these might peel off. Usually not what you want. Oh. These are these solar panels. Yep. And I guess this is the... would you reckon this is a Apollo style capsule or a Dragon style capsule? Probably more towards an Apollo, the 3-seater. Oh yeah, this yeah. Tin can, gumball, lander, 5-seat command pod. Looks a bit like the space shuttle design, but different. Oh well. Let's head back for a little bit. Okay, so 2 more training tutorials of 4 sub-tutorials each. Let's go finish these and then see if we can build and launch a rocket ourselves. Nothing fancy probably this this first stream.
Orbits are weird. Remember your orbiting baseball? What if you wanted to make its orbit higher? Well, it's a baseball, so grab your bat and try to hit the ball to a higher orbit. Your first thought might be to try to deflect the ball upwards. Unfortunately, hitting the ball upward bends its orbit so that it hits the ground before it can return to you. What you need to do is hit the ball in the direction it's already moving, adding to its already high velocity. Now that you've sped the ball up, why isn't it flying any higher? It just keeps whizzing by at the same height it always did. After all, I said that making it go faster would make it go higher. What gives? The ball is actually going higher, but it's going higher on the opposite side of the planet from where you're standing. You've raised its orbit, and you've learned the first lesson of orbital maneuvering. Your actions affect the opposite side of your orbit. Weird, huh? So your ball is moving faster, but it's still passing you at the same height. How do you get its orbit higher on this side of the planet? Now that you know how changes in velocity affect the other side of your orbit, you've got all you need. By adding velocity to the ball at the highest point in its orbit, you raise the lowest point in its orbit and make it circular again.
That's not how that works. At least the donut eating part. Silly Kerbals.
An equatorial orbit is good, but if you want to travel beyond Kerbin, you will need to manipulate your orbit. Let's start with something simple, expanding an orbit. We do that by increasing the value of our apoapsis. Let's get a good view.
Paige? Where's my parachute? Paige? Why did you not give me a parachute? Now Valentina Kerman is gonna die. Needlessly. Just
Remember
for a
how
tutorial.
You circularized your orbit by increasing your forward velocity? To raise your orbit, you'll just do more of the same. It's time to burn prograde. Now that we're pointed the right way, we can increase the throttle and watch our orbit expand. Ooh, cut the throttle. If you overdo it, you'll leave Kerbin. Nice. That maneuver raised our orbit on the other side of Kerbin, so we will enter high orbit there. Waiting to reach a specific point can be as eventful as watching the neon stripes on your rover dry. The paint job will be worth it, but isn't it better to rush to the end? Skip ahead to the good stuff using a time warp.
Let's skip ahead to the good stuff.
Like I said earlier, the highest point of our orbit is called the apoapsis. The lowest point of our orbit is known as the periapsis. By default, your camera is focused on your vessel, so if you can't see either of these points, adjust your camera. Scroll the middle mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Double-click an object to center your camera on it. Click the middle mouse button to enter FreeCam. Press Home to reset the camera to your active vessel.
Woohoo!
Excellent! You can time warp to any position on your trajectory by selecting a point on your vehicle's current path, and then selecting Time Warp to Point.
Well, let's do that then. Time warp.
Now you're way up in the sky, so high that if you circularize your orbit now, you'll be in high orbit. Wow, the black starry void looks so small from here.
What? We didn't even circularize. Come on, game. Oh well.
From command pods to space probe cores, a lot of critical rocket parts use electric charge. You'll want to design your rocket so it can generate and store EC.
Okay.
Most rocket engines generate electric charge while active, but we'll still need a way to keep our batteries full while coasting between maneuvers. Solar panels convert Kerbal's light into EC for our rockets. Small solar panels can just be placed, but large solar panels are delicate and must only be deployed once we're out of the atmosphere. I've equipped this rocket with 2 deployable solar panels. Here's a hand crank. Get to work.
Crank it up.
Just kidding. There's a handy button that opens all of them with a single click. Give it a try. Great. The solar panels are now extended. Light tracking solar panels only rotate on one axis, so we may need to reorient our ship to point them fully at the sun. Let's make sure the panels are getting direct sunlight by rolling our ship a little bit.
Oh, of course, he wants us to rotate.
Excellent. The solar panels are soaking up all of those sweet photons and giving our rocket some much-needed EC. You can see the status of any solar panel within the part manager in the electrical parts menu. You can either access the app directly by clicking the app button, or you can right-click a part to directly access it in the part manager. Getting EC is one thing, and storing it is another. Most command pods have a small battery, but many missions will call for additional EC storage. When we're traveling far from the sun or going to the dark side of a planet, more batteries means more peace of mind. At some point, the crew will run out of snacks. Did you know a Kerbal is 99.9% more likely to crash when hungry? That's when it's time to head back down to Kerbin, a planet known for its plentiful snack options. First, let's get a better view for this operation.
Everybody's more likely to crash when they're hungry. Especially me.
Remember how we burned prograde to raise our orbit? To lower our orbit, we burn in the opposite direction, retrograde. SAS can really help us out here, so let's turn that on. Now flip retrograde, the opposite direction to our rocket's movement. When we get into position to fire our engine backwards, we'll slow down. All right, the rocket is aligned to retrograde. Increase the throttle and burn until our trajectory is just past the atmosphere. As we decelerate, watch what's happening to our periapsis. Once it enters the atmosphere, this rocket is on a path back to the ground. Don't ease off the throttle yet, though. We're gonna keep burning until our trajectory intercepts the ground. This should give us a good idea where our capsule... That's it! Let's stop our burn. Now that we're on a collision course with Kerbin, we need to turn that collision into something more survivable. This process of crashing without dying is called landing. Our upcoming stage will activate a decoupler, dropping the engine and exposing a very important heat shield. Why don't you do that now?
Right. Here goes nothing.
Great. We're on our way down and our heat shield is exposed. Have you ever wondered what a marshmallow feels like when it catches on fire? You're about to find out.
Oh, God. Seriously? These, like, 3-step tutorials are a little bit over the top, I would say. Hey, Peter. Of course I'm having fun. It's Kerbal. And today I learned the act of getting to the land with crashing is called landing. Oh, well. Yeah, we're at light speed, Peter. All right, let's Also have a look at the last tutorial. And then just have a little bit of fun.
Orbital transfers. As you know, the faster you go, the higher your orbit gets. If you get moving fast enough, your orbit may cross the orbit of some other object, like a moon or a planet. The closest celestial body to Kerbin is the Mun. If you're looking for somewhere else to fly a rocket, the Mun is a good choice. The real trick to getting there is timing your departure so that the Mun captures your vehicle at its highest point. If you mistime your departure, you may miss the Mun entirely, which creates a lot of paperwork. Let's assume you've left at the right time and the Mun is there to meet you. As your vessel approaches the Mun, it enters a zone in which the Mun's gravitational influence on your orbit is stronger than Kerbin's. This zone is called the Mun's sphere of influence. You've had to go very quickly to escape Kerbin's gravity, much too fast for the Mun's low gravity to capture you. If you don't slow down, your vehicle will speed past the Mun and be flung farther into space. Remember what I said about paperwork? Once you're in the Mun's gravity well, the best way to slow down is to fire your engines backwards until your trajectory becomes a nice, stable orbit. Now you're a moon of the Mun! Ha!
I forgot if you picked up this game. Wasn't it available for free on Epic Game Store a bit ago? Actually, no, because that was Kerbal Space Program 1. And this just released today. This is Kerbal Space Program 2. Basically kind of a remake. But at least one of the things that is upcoming that they're kind of really focusing on is that instead, like Kerbal Space Program 1 was just a single player, and here they want to go for multiplayer. Eventually. We've completed the tutorial. Next. And one of the things that they did on KSP2 was invest a little bit more time in the tutorials.
Is in orbit over Kerbin and ready to fly. The mission today is to, drumroll please, intercept and orbit the Mun. To be captured by the Mun's gravity, our vessel must cross into the Mun's sphere of influence, or SOI, the zone in which its gravity is stronger than any other celestial body around it. We're going to create a maneuver plan to figure out when and how long we need to fire our engines to intercept the Mun.
Again, with the no parachuting. Nope. They released it today as a early access, and there's a lot of things that's still missing from what we're familiar with from KSP1 that they'll implement later, as well as the multiplayer. I guess they just needed a lot of how do you call that?
Now here's a new trick.
Player input.
We can select any object as a target in map view. Targeting gives us useful information and enables new tools. Once we've targeted a celestial body or other object in space, our maneuver will provide closest pass and plane angle information. This can be very helpful for meeting up with someone or something in space. Right now, our camera is following our vessel as it orbits Kerbin. Let's adjust our camera until we can see the Mun. Then, right-click to target it. We want to place this maneuver plan with two things in mind. First, the Mun is in motion. We can't aim our spacecraft where the Mun is right now. Instead, we have to aim where the Mun will be after our vehicle has coasted all the way from Kerbin.
Funny how I was way ahead of the game.
Second, remember how increasing velocity raises the opposite side of our orbit? Since we're placing this maneuver plan where we intend to start our burn, we should place it on the opposite side of Kerbin from where we intend to intercept the Mun. Placing a maneuver plan usually involves making a best guess, and then fiddling with the maneuver until you get an intercept. Fortunately, you've got a crack navigator with you today. By my calculations, we'll want to put our maneuver here. Excellent. We've just created a maneuver plan. While we could find out if our departure timing is correct by just picking a direction and maxing the throttle, a maneuver plan tells us in advance how much delta V we'll need, how long we'll need to burn, and in what direction our vessel will need to point during the maneuver. Grab and pull the arrows to plan a burn along that direction. This maneuver is pretty simple. We want to burn prograde and expand our orbit.
I already mentioned before, like when they were in one of the earlier tutorials, they mentioned like, hey, look, you're high up, you can see the curvature of the planet. And I was like, see, flat earthers, see that the earth is round? Kerbal just proved us right. It's round, it's a sphere, it's because Kerbal tells us. Ah.
Nice! That maneuver event towards the end of your trajectory is exactly what we're looking for. It tells that if we execute this plan, we'll intercept the Mun.
Ah. Wait, is this like where we enter its sphere of influence and where we'll exit? And then this, of course, is our trajectory, first orbit and then second orbit.
If a maneuver looks right, but we're not getting the intercept we expect, we can change the starting position of the maneuver by grabbing and dragging the middle of the maneuver plan along our orbit. It's very common to refine a maneuver plan by adjusting both the position of the maneuver and the direction of the planned burn.
I love that they added this. Like, impact! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Danger, Will Robinson, danger!
If we don't want to maneuver at all, we can delete the plan, either by right-clicking the gizmo and selecting delete, or through the burn timer.
Right-clicking?
Maneuvers are invaluable when leaving Kerbin. Feel free to come back and practice anytime.
What, Pappy? Snow? Damn!
We've got a maneuver plan that intercepts the Mun. Now we just need to execute that maneuver and fly to the Mun ourselves. Whenever we have a maneuver plan, a burn timer will appear. The timer shows you how much time is left until we need to execute the maneuver. I've paused the simulation for a moment, so this number won't count down quite yet.
Start burn in 13 minutes. Stop burn in now.
The The timer also tells us how long we'll need to burn our engines at 100% throttle in order to complete the maneuver. Now let's take a look at the nav ball. A new marker has joined our old prograde and retrograde markers. This is called a maneuver marker, and it shows us the orientation of our planned maneuver. We'll want to make sure that this marker is in the center of our nav ball during our maneuver burn. Luckily, we can aim at this maneuver marker by selecting the maneuver button on your SAS controls.
Well, actually, I'm not really sure to what extent this is actually factual true, but it is said that NASA has used the first KSP-1 actually as a training tool. Because Kerbal Space Program was, or actually is, very... where was I going with that? Is very accurate with its orbital mechanics. So all that we see here actually makes sense. And there are, of course, for a game, this is Kerbal. This is a downscaled planet with a downscaled atmosphere, just to be able to get into space easier and quicker and such, to make it more of a game. But there are actually mods that reproduce our entire solar system to every detail. All the planets are there. All their gravity characteristics, atmospheric characteristics. Everything is there. So you can actually make a real life or a very accurate simulation of what, for instance, SpaceX is doing right now. And that's always what I found cool about this game. That it is so accurate. And I believe that I thought NASA as well, but especially the European Space Agency has or had made some like DLCs for this for the first game back in the day, like a couple of years back, creating missions and such. Now let's see. Where were we going with this?
Now your vehicle is properly oriented. And through the magic of SAS and more math than I'd like to admit, our vessel is properly oriented. We're still far from our planned burn, so let's speed things up. While we could rely on our reflexes to time warp at the perfect moment, a less stressful alternative is warping to a specific point in our orbit. See this button? Select it to warp automatically to the moment before our maneuver begins. Departure burn, here we come. Great! We've exited just before our maneuver burn, and I've paused the simulation once more. After we select Continue, remember to wait until the countdown reaches 0. Then we'll go full throttle until our burn timer reaches 0. Then cut the throttle quickly to avoid overshooting our target.
Well, obviously... Hello, Laura, welcome! Thanks for the pop-in. And by the way, is this the actual Laura? Or is this a hack that count again? Sorry. I know. Bad jokes.
Okay, get ready to hit the throttle.
I do hope that you get everything sorted soon enough. Oh. Was I already? Oh yeah, of course. We still needed to wait 15 seconds. Merp. That's me not paying attention.
Watch the burn timer. We want to stop our burn once it reaches 0.
True, true. Fifteen seconds. Almost there.
Everything. Great work. You've successfully executed a maneuver. And now we're on our way to the Mun.
Again, they're a little bit off. Because I think we still had 5 seconds and we were already... Oh, no, of course. That would have been the second orbit. Oh, well. Damn, I really need to get used to this again. Of course, I've worked with mods with...
Don't let the wait fool you. We're now moving faster than any Kerbal has ever flown before. When we enter the Mun's sphere of influence, we'll be going way too fast for the Mun's gravity to capture our vehicle. To orbit the Mun, we'll need to burn retrograde once we're inside its SOI, or sphere of influence. This will slow us down enough to keep us from being whipped into interplanetary space. Let's start by time warping until we're within the Mun's sphere of influence. That's the sphere within which the Mun is the primary gravitational influence on your vehicle. Let's get a little bolder with our time warp this time. Farewell. Welcome to the Mun's sphere of influence. Let's slow down to normal time so we can create our capture maneuver.
I mean, imagine how this game would be, Peter, if we didn't have the time warp available. This is like 1 time, 2 times, 4 times, 10 times, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. I mean, some missions take like, well, 70, 80 years. Imagine that. Alright, Lilleret, thanks for dropping by. Good luck with your stream. See you later. Where were we here? Oh yeah, we need to select one.
Did you notice that we've got a periapsis above the Mun, but no apoapsis? That's because we're going too fast to complete an orbit before sailing past the Mun. Don't worry, we have time to adjust. Our objective is to slow down enough so that both apoapsis and periapsis are within the Mun's sphere of influence.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, why do I see an apoapsis and periapsis here? But of course, that's the ones for Kerbin, and nothing yet for the Mun. Only the periapsis.
Remember the rule of orbital opposites. Because we want to lower your apoapsis, we'll need to place our maneuver plan in order to reduce our apoapsis. We need to slow down by burning backwards, or retrograde. This is a little like deorbiting over Kerbin, but we're going to stop burning before our trajectory meets Mundust.
Yeah. Oh.
Maneuver plan set. Next up, let's make sure we're pointed where we need to be. If the maneuver is right and we're pointed in the right direction, now we need to time warp to the right position.
I mean, same thing indeed with Microsoft Flight Simulator. If you're playing real time, and I would take a transatlantic flight, it would take me a decent couple of hours. But I think they also have a time warp. Although with the latest one, I think that was a bit hidden. I remember that doing last year when I played it a little bit.
And we're on our way. Almost there. When the countdown reaches 0, throttle up to start your capture burn.
Can we go to... Oh. And it just loaded in. Didn't it? -5. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Keep burning until the burn timer reaches 0.
1.
Shut the end. Fantastic. That was some fancy flying. Looks to me like you're about ready to try this for real.
Woohoo! We got a good orbit. Now the question would be, do we have enough Delta V to get back to the planet? That's the sun. Looks a little reddish. So I think 7 out of 7, 6 out of 6, 4 out of 4, 4 out of 4. Yay! They're very basic, but I think this will make it easier for new players indeed to get a bit of an understanding of Kerbal Space Program. So then the question is, do we want to go with risking the lives of 3 Kerbals? Or shall we perhaps start with risking 1 life? 1 Kerbal life? Okay, yeah, one of the things that I'm still kind of missing is things like science, but then again, science is completely not yet incorporated into the game, unfortunately. Alright, Peter, thanks for dropping by. See you later. So let's see. Probably put in reaction wheel. Well, not probably. We are gonna put in a reaction wheel. And let's see if we can put a Kerbal into orbit and then safely back again. Okay, these are, yeah, these ones. We need batteries. Let's put on some solar. Actually, there used to be a way to go back, but seems to be right click is the menu. Left click just going up in number for the symmetry mode. Also Control Shift Alt, none of them are working in that sense. That's a lot of batteries. Oh well. Ooh. Are these? Okay, so these are large statics. These are the which one is it at the moment? The Orion spacecraft that's using the circular solar panels? Yep. These are a little bit more fancy for a spaceship like this. Well, though. They do stick out. Do we have like a okay. But what was the original called again in ASP1? I forgot. It was like a small size. I don't think it was the science. No, that wasn't Science Bay. Or was it? Nah. It doesn't matter. Actually, probably best to go with these. Just cause aerodynamics, you know. Then so we basically have everything. We got a control system, we got a battery or power system, fuel system. We take the Terrier, of course. Our orbital engine. That should give us with... Of course it's less than 1. Oh. Does it actually matter? I mean, for old time's sake, I want to fly with Jeb. But it used to differentiate between pilots, engineers, and scientists. But yeah, I guess that's probably not in the game either. At least not yet. Nope. Separate staging, please. Now. If we go with... let's see, yeah. Engine... 1.686. Now the only thing is what now that I realize is that this is a more powerful engine. Launcher. But usually you want to have the swivel versions to have some control, right? I mean, it can always add 2 of these. Although I'm not sure how well this would go. Now, where was I? Ooh, color manager. Launch assembly. Assembly anchor. Hehehehe. Oh wait, we got here a delta V of... Oh, no! Oh well, well actually, why not? So we got... yeah. It's a beautiful day. Let's launch a Kerbal. In. Checking if the stream is still going right. I'm still a little bit nervous about that sometimes. I sometimes do get like pop-ups like, oh, your bitrate is too high, or oh, encoder's having trouble. And I'm like, no, 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 you don't. No, you don't. But it seems to be going alright. For now. Alright, let's launch in 3, 2, 1. Oh. What? Oh wow, it has an entire launch countdown. Now let's see if we'll be reaching max Q. Calming down a bit. Slowly rotating. Past the second layer, second atmospheric layer. Wasn't there a way to... Okay, let's put it on 130. And then create a maneuver plan. There. Is it somehow going to tell us the... Nope, it doesn't seem that way. Oh, 78 kilometers. '93. Um, 2 minutes. Let's fast travel a bit. Now, of course, I'm fast traveling manually, so I also have to manually kill it. Otherwise, if I would warp to maneuver, then it would automatically stop it for me. $20. Oh boy. Yep. Not enough delta V to make a complete orbit and be able to get back safe. Mwah, 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 mwah. I mean, I didn't think the rocket would be ready yet. I mean, I accidentally pressed the launch button. I was like, yeah, well, let's try it anyway. I wasn't even paying attention to Paige here. Abort! Abort! Too bad we'll be landing on the dark side of the planet. Also, let's point ourselves retrograde, shall we? And well, technically we can burn up the remainder of the fuel. Not that we need to, but poof. Drop that part. Bye, thank you. See you later. Ah, darn it, I should have tested the solar panels and such. Default name 3. Let's speed up a bit. Okay, so I guess the boundary for the object indicator is like 1.5 kilometers. Interesting actually that we're still using SES and not draining any electrical. That kind of surprised me a little bit because I was expecting, or maybe we already were in atmosphere. I didn't check. But I was expecting the Bernie bit. We didn't really cook up, surprisingly. So I was waiting for that at at a higher speed. I'm waiting before to drop the or deploy the parachute. I hope not. I mean, it's kind of dark out there. So I'm not really sure where I'm landing. Although apparently I am landing on land, apparently. Because the delta to the ground is 650 meters. And we're at 1500 above sea level. But that's at least a kilometer above sea level where the ground is, where land is. Aha! You can recover your vessel here. Here where? It used to be like a drop-down menu on the top. Kerbal manager, flight report. I mean, I might be missing something somewhere. After all, I haven't fully found out all the buttons yet. I mean, this is one way to recover a vessel. That was some good flying. Woohoo. Yeah, you can always do better. Oh? Oh. Okay, so apparently it auto-saved. This was a test. I can delete that one. We'll just load this one again. And so the solar panels are on. And first stage, but I'm missing a couple of additional parts. Perhaps I indeed want to go with the design that we did in the tutorial. How big of a booster do we want? Over 5,000 meters a second delta V. Good. let's place them slightly higher up. Put some... aerodynamic cones on there. Perhaps I can even drag them in closer. I do want to have that one here as well. And there we go. I was like, hey, I told you. Or will this be overkill? Oh, they're actually not really aligned, I see. Dang it, Kerbal. And I might go trying for 2. Oh, I think I remember this with the okay, now they're totally misaligned. Because I didn't place them correctly. I feel like they're off, or is it because the boosters are off? I think the boosters were off. And yes, chat, I am really picky about this sometimes. What the? There, that should be better. Let's try this for now. Let's call this... I'm not really into making up great names right now, so I'll just call it the NOOB Mark 1. Actually, it should be the 2, but meh. Launch. Epic music. I do have a feeling this should be more of a countdown. There we go. And start to rotate. just ever so slightly. All engines nominal. Stand by for booster separation. Separate. I actually wasn't paying attention to my altitude, so we have overshot by a long. Let's probably kill some speed. Throttle down the engines. So that hopefully we can push the orbit out more instead of up. That's why I'm also aiming directly at the horizon at the moment. And we'll just use up all the fuel on this stage. There. Miko. Main engine cutoff. Prepare for main stage separation in 3, 2, 1. Separate. And we have good separation. Woohoo! And then the mission control goes all wild and everything. And I know I've seen too many SpaceX launches for that. So with almost 1300 Delta V left. Will you tell me? 50 kilometers. This is also often a good marker when the periapsis is starting, or when the apoapsis and the periapsis start to turn. You usually know that the semicircular orbit is being reached. And 200 should be fine. Also for the re-entry burn. Plenty of fuel to spare. Actually, I forget. Nope. Now I have activated the stage. So let's time warp. Or probably deploy our solar panels first, since we're now in orbit. So we don't have any prograde, retrograde. Like locked for the SES control. We should keep our current position relative to the sun until we go behind the planet. Let's warp to maneuver, shall we? Seconds. Let's aim. Technically, I could rotate it like this. Standing by for second stage ignition in 3, 2, 1, go. Rather interesting. I believe I did follow the start marker and the end marker. Yet instead of being... Oh wait, of course. What? Hold on. Of course, it still remembers the maneuver marker. So basically what it does is it leaves the marker there so that when you come around on the next round, when you would meet up the marker again, it will give you that kind of orbit if you spend the same amount of delta V. That can be a little bit confusing, of course. And oh yeah, the gray line is then for the first stage, the main stage. That will be its trajectory back into the atmosphere. Now, what I'm curious about of course, nothing yet. I want some Steam achievements. I'm definitely gonna write a review for this game. Mostly positive. Although probably I should end up with a neutral review. Since, well, we're here enjoying our orbit, I'll see if I can speak my mind a little bit about the game so far. So basically it's just a reskin of the original game so far. They do have better tutorials from the start. Definitely a big minus point is that we don't have Steam achievements. Because everything nowadays is about the Steam achievements, or any achievements for that matter. It is a bit disappointing that most of the other things like science and such are not there yet. But overall, I'm thinking of anything else. User interface. I'm at a 50-50 maybe. Of course, I still need to get used to all the well, basically the entire new layout, where everything is. It does feel a little bit too much present for what I'm used from KSP1. Yeah. But that's more like you're so used to something, and then basically you're playing the same game with a different reskin, and then yeah, I don't know. Since most of the game mechanics, the base game mechanics, of course, feel the same. It just is a little bit, probably just something to get used to. I wouldn't give it a negative review for the user interface, but I wouldn't also give it yet a positive one. Is it a pre-release? No, it's early access. That's what I was looking for, the word. Early access game. Like most of the games that I have played on Steam. Besides, actually, KSP1. I played KSP1 in early access. Or like alpha or beta release. Like at least before the 1.0. And of course, some of the mods are missing, etc, etc. There's not yet really missions and such in it, so it does take us back to the early game, early KSP, like 0. Where did they start? I think for it to be playable was like 0.5 or 0.6 or something. I mean, I do like that for the Space Center that they've expanded it a bit. They give it more detail. There is now like a can we go back to the, probably go through here? No. It's got a bit of a more natural look now. So, I mean, with a bit more detail in the surroundings. We got trees and such, so it's not just a barren flat grassland. Also, what I do have to admit is that I was worried. Well, for those that are watching me, of course, more than just today. Last week I had some issues with my OBS and my my streams for playing Hogwarts, and even with Icarus, with high resolutions and such, that OBS would crap out all the time. Of course, I've changed something. I changed my settings. I did a lot to get the OBS working, but the developers released a minimum and recommended hardware chart, and it says that you need like an i5 11 gen and a 3080 recommended, and even the minimum was on a somewhat higher recommendation. And they explained because they're not really sure how all the computers are handling the game. They took a conservative path to put in a higher recommendation. But so far, with my 3070 and running OBS at the same time to be able to stream, I'm still in high settings. So I'm actually so far pretty conservatively pleased with how deliberately say conservatively how the game is handling at the moment. But then again, what we're also familiar with KSP1 is that the more junk you put out there, the more crappier it will start to run, of course. The more demanding it will be on your system, at least. And of course, watch as I press a button and OBS craps out again. No kidding. Knock on wood. And definitely Pappy. We're just space nerds. This way I should be able to get back to my spacecraft. Now let's see if we can get this one back home safely again. Now the big question is... Ooh. I was about to say, where's the space center, but... Probably I wanna... I'm not gonna reach the space center. Or at least I'm not gonna try. Simply because it's currently getting into the dark side. I want to try to land here in the desert. And knowing from the... well, practice runs that I have with KSP1, if I aim it here, we'll probably end up like here once we reach, once we enter the atmosphere. I'll probably overshoot it a little bit to see if we can get in the center of the desert. All right. Let's at least aim our spacecraft, since we're also still in the shadow of the planet. Let's see. We don't have to worry about our solar panels. And we got about 10 minutes, so that's 0. Yep, let's warp to maneuver node. And then we got about 30 seconds. So this shouldn't take too much of our delta V, like 300. And we got about 800 left, so. Five seconds. 2, 1, mark. Five seconds to cut off. 2, 1. And done. Now we can get rid of the note. So we should enter the atmosphere probably. Can I get somehow? Is there a way to get data out of this? Probably not. Let's just speed up time a little bit. Point our ship retrograde. Of course. Yep. I was thinking, why is it not? But that's also still the same as in KSP1. It will maneuver when you're in time warp. Eee. I guess it's getting late. Guess that's what's going on. Words. $50 times. Oh wow. Look at that beautiful moonrise. Would you look at that? Oh, actually. What was that? Well, Bill, look at the beautiful moon. And we're going back retrograde. Let's save. Let's retract the solar panels. And stage separation in 3, 2, 1. Mark. Thank you. Bye bye. Good luck. Be safe out there. Auto ground. We're in the upper atmosphere, but so far I'm truly missing something. I do have to say, I think that I'll look at the release notes and such, and the what's it called? The roadmap for the game, because I do have a feeling that the atmospheric effects are not there yet. Also, when we launched, I kind of missed. I was half expecting the max Q effect already. So the maximum aerodynamic pressure from when you're in too thick of an atmosphere going too fast. You get that buildup of air on the nose. Usually when you go like a couple of Mach velocities. And now also the re-entry. It's like the physical effects are there because it's slowing you down, but not the visual effects. You know what I mean? That usually was a pretty interesting thing for KSP1. That's the pro air shoot. Right now, I was about to say right now it's just like a drogue shoot and then fully deploys. What was it, like 500-600? Alright, let's time warp until we're down. Also, I do hope that they'll do a little bit more with the planet surface like they did with the Space Center. Although I can also imagine that that will take up more computing power. I don't know yet. I'll come back to that. Now let's see, can we? Oh. Okay. What? That's a little bit weird. But we also did our first EVA. Let's get back. Hello? You reckon were we facing quicksand, or did we just had an instant sandstorm covering up the capsule in the desert? Actually, how far? See, this is what I mean with the aerodynamic effects. That we're aiming here to re-enter or to actually land. And we were aiming here because we were hoping to land here, and we're actually on the front part of the desert area, or the border edge between the desert and the, well, will it be grasslands or something? Yet vessel resources. No. still trying to find... Well, I guess we just... I'll probably look that up later. Recover. Confirm. Yay. I'm missing that button here. The recover button that would drop down from the top. Also, actually not a bad idea to have a look at the Space Center at night. Can we somehow... No. Oh, nope. What I wanted to do. Get back. Noob. Noob. Stop being a noob. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any way to minimize this window yet. I mean, they did put some detail in the parking garage. That's for sure. Street lighting. But... overall, in my humble opinion, I would say it's a game with potential, but I would have hoped for a little bit more. You know what I mean? I mean, we can do it like a sandbox, but like I said, I'm missing science and such. I'm missing missions. So yeah. But still, definitely something to look forward to. Did we miss anything else? No, not really, actually. I was thinking if like I said, training center we've done all the tutorials already. Well, the vehicle assembly building we've done. Parking station is nothing particularly special, so maybe I'll do some more flying off stream, but I'm definitely gonna see and check out what the roadmap is, and then probably come back to the game once in a while to cover all the updates and such. But for now, it was just a fun to look at the game on the release date, because, well, release date is a big word. The early access release date, which was today. Also, what we now have 450 euros that I had to spend. Maybe I get it, maybe I don't, but in any case, thanks everybody for hanging out and watching me explore the game. I hope everybody did at least somehow enjoy. If so, don't forget to leave a like, If you haven't already, please subscribe to help out the channel grow. And I'll see you all on the next stream. Definitely have plans to stream more tomorrow. Maybe even Hogwarts Legacy again if it's gonna keep up. If it's gonna hold up. I hope to see you there. Bye bye.